What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Sal. FreeStockPicks.org is the website. Today, I want to tell you guys something. I've decided after a lot of thought that I'm going to vote for Donald Trump for President of the United States, and I'm going to tell you why. One, I think he'd be amazing for my industry. All right, you guys know I trade stocks for a living. I think he would be an amazing president for the stock market. I think we will see the kind of explosion and new money and new issues and new just energy, okay, into our capital markets that I think we haven't seen in a very, very long time. Another reason is that because we're fighting something today called ISIS. And whether you're the biggest agnostic in the world or the Bible thumping, you know, church going every single day, out of Cleveland, Mississippi somewhere, uh, these people are going to kill you. Okay? So they're killing everybody. These people need to be stopped. And he's the only politician so far talking about destroying ISIS. In fact, I think he was the first politician to talk about destroying those guys. Now, for the most part, I think ISIS and their whole creation and their whole, the whole maintenance of this, foolish, these animalistic barbarians has been an inside job, funded and created by people within our own government. And I think Donald Trump is the only person who can go in there and put a lid on that shit. Okay, excuse my language. Another reason is that I don't think Donald Trump is a racist. I really don't. Okay, Donald Trump has been on TV now, I mean, as long as I can remember. I'm almost 30 years old. And I don't remember Donald Trump ever being accused of being a racist until the guy started running for president. I don't remember. I don't remember that at all. In fact, before he started running for president, you could make the argument that some of the biggest friends of Donald Trump within the celebrity space were black people. I mean, for the most part, white celebrities didn't really mess with Trump. Every time you saw Donald Trump, though, he was with a black celebrity, a basketball player or a singer or a rapper or something like that. But white celebrities really didn't mess with Donald Trump like that. I don't, remember that too much. But then he starts, running for president, and all of a sudden he's kind of, oh, he's a racist. You know what I mean? But that's what the Democrats kind of do, man. And I've gotten to a point where I'm kind of tired of that. These people, nobody hates black people more than a liberal Democrat, man. These people hate black people. They hate them so much. They support organizations that were built on the destruction of the black race. I mean, that's how much they hate black people. But they will go to Planned Parenthood, put money in their PayPal to send money to an organization that was founded to kill black people. That's how much they hate people who look like me. But they want you to hate the Republicans, though. The people who trying to get rid of the people trying to kill black people. You got to hate them, though. Not only that, but Donald Trump is talking about jobs. See, when Donald Trump talks about bringing jobs back to America, this is where black people have a hard time hearing. And again, it's not the fault of black people. I really want conservatives who are watching this to understand. It's not the fault. It's just that black people have been so brainwashed by the liberal Democrat. These people are really good because they know how to go into black spaces and do the things that black people like to do. A Republican politician, when he goes to talk to other conservatives or people who are he's interested in getting them to vote, he goes into their homes or into their places of worship and he talks about things he's going to do for them. Whereas a Democrat, he goes into places, black homes and black schools and black churches, and he does a dance or learns how to do a rap song. So you're kind of left not really sure. You didn't learn anything. You realize this guy can do the Dougie and the stanky leg or whatever new buck dance they're doing now, but you didn't get any useful information. But what you did leave was with some kind of love and admiration for that liberal Democrat politician. So when he says something, you believe everything that comes out of his mouth because you got a liking to him. You know, that's why they call Bill Clinton the first black president, not because he did anything great for black people. In fact, he was terrible for black people, but because he played the saxophone, and black people love jazz. You know, when he was in a room full of black people, he would add that kind of fake Southern drawl to his voice. He had in the early '90s that all of a sudden now is kind of gone. You know, kind of thing like when Barack Obama does when he's in a room full of black people. It starts kind of he slows down his words and puts a little, blackish on his voice. You know what I mean? But I digress. Donald Trump talks about jobs. When Donald Trump talks about bringing jobs back to America, and I'm not repeating myself, who do you think is going to work in these factories that Donald Trump wants to put back online? These white boys ain't going to try to work in no factory. You think these white boys want to sit in factories and make LCDs? You think they want to sit in factories and make computers and iPhones? They don't want to do that. He's talking about you. He's talking about your mom who has an EBT card and has had one for the last 30 years of her life. He's talking about your brother who's been struggling because he can't find employment because he didn't go to college, right? Or he went to college, didn't do well, flunked out, whatever reason. And because in America right now, if you don't have a college degree in a specialized field that is actually in demand, you're fucked. So how are you going to make a living? This man is talking about bringing jobs back to America to fill the needs of those kind of people who need that help. And if anything, those are liberals. Donald Trump is bringing jobs back to America to put liberals back to work. Conservatives aren't going to work there because conservatives, for the most part, they own their own businesses. For the most part, a lot of conservatives, they own their own businesses, right? They understand how capitalism works. So when Donald Trump talks about starting jobs and creating jobs back in America, a lot of times it's not for conservatives because most of those people own their own businesses. Many of them are involved in entrepreneurial ventures. Whether it be for themselves or for a family member, a friend, whatever it is. But Republicans are all about that green paper. There's another really interesting thing that they're talking about is, how Donald Trump's a racist, but also the associations that there are people out here who support Donald Trump because he's like the second coming of like the white race or some bull crap like that. That's not true. Let me tell you guys something. Reputable conservatives, they can't stand racist. Okay? People like Sean Hannity, Rush Limbaugh, name any, Republican agent or whatever. These people don't want to be in the room with anybody who's affiliated with any kind of hate group. All right? They can't stand those people. And I don't want you to allow the Democrats to make you feel like the Republicans are somehow out to lynch black people. It's not true. The Republicans who matter can't stand racists. They can't stand them. The people who are talking about Israel and, they can't stand those people. They hate their guts. Look at South Carolina. South Carolina is a conservative state. They got rid of the Confederate flag. They say, well, we don't want this on state grounds anymore. That's a conservative state. That's Republicans. These people don't like racists. They don't like hate groups. They don't like to be associated with those type of people, man. These people are about one color, and that color is green. If you're a real Republican, that's your motivation is green. Okay? And you don't care if your customer is white, black, yellow, it don't matter. It's green. Okay? That's one of their biggest things about illegal immigration that's being lost because the Democrats are talking about all the hate and stuff. They want them out because they're Mexicans. Not really because they're Mexican. It's because a lot of people in conservative circles who, again, are in business are losing money to the Hispanic illegal immigration crisis. You know, they're coming in, they're doing a lot of illegal work. They're doing work under the table, a lot of times without licenses. They're undercutting reputable businesses. That hurt all of us. Okay? Because when you're getting work done by an unlicensed, unbonded business, everybody loses. The work isn't done properly, you know? So now we've got let's say, for example, an illegal home remodeling situation. So we got a home that's done illegally, probably not done well. So now we've got a city with a home that's got to be vacated. So it's just sits there, right? Because your city comes in and says, well, this is against code. You can't live here. We've got a county now with a foreclosure. So it comes down, it trickles down, it hurts everybody. You know, that's what illegal immigration a lot of times is about. It's also about crime. Okay. And this illegal immigration, it hurts black people. Go to Los Angeles, go see what these Hispanics have done to black people in California. And you guys want to talk about racism? Nobody's more racist than the Hispanic American. The Hispanic is the biggest racist. He's as big of a racist as probably the Arab. You think white racism is? Go to Colombia and go see how they treat black people. Go to Nicaragua. Go see how they treat black people. Go to Brazil. Go see how they treat black people. Guatemala. Go to Mexico and see how they treat black people. Mexico had their own black community. They had black people who lived in Mexico. They for the most part killed all those people. They hated them so much because they were black. They killed them. And these Arabs that the Obama administration is trying to bring in from Syria, nobody hates people more than the Arabs. Hates black people more than Arab people. People want to talk about the transatlantic slave trade. Let's talk about the Arab slave trade, Arab African slave trade. Hundreds of millions of Africans were sent to places like Baghdad and what's the capital of Iran? It's not coming up in my head right now. All over the Middle East, hundreds of thousands of black people. In fact, there was a war that was fought against the runaway slave black population and the Arabs out there. There was a war hundreds of years ago fought. Okay? And what was so sick about the Arab African slave trade, there's another word for it. I forgot what it's called. There's another word for that slave trade. It's not coming to my head right now. But these people would literally cut and castrate the slaves. You know, at least in the transatlantic slave trade, when you got here, you were allowed to get married. And sure, it was a horrible institution. Horrible institution. But you got married and you could reproduce and, you know. Horrible institution. Not saying anything about it. But when you want to compare it to what the Arabs did, that's why you don't see any Arabs in any black people in Iraq now. You don't see any black people in Iran now. All right? They would castrate black people and kill them. Okay? So you're talking about a party that is out, the Republican Party that is out to literally seek and destroy the enemies of black people. Because that's what they are. Hispanic people, for the most part, not all Hispanics. I'm not saying all Hispanics. There are some good Hispanic people out there. But for the most part, Hispanic people don't like black people. Don't try to argue with me about it, because I know you Hispanics. I know how you talk with your family members. I know how you talk with your grandmoms and grandpas. I know you people, man. I know you people. You Arabs too. I lived in Detroit, man. Lived in Dearborn. I know you Arabs, how you think about black people. So I'm voting for Donald Trump because he's about fairness. He's about what's right for this country and for this world, man. So don't let the Democrats fool you. Don't let, the associations, a lot of these associations created by the Democratic Party to make, these people will create issues, man, just to confuse you, So, again, I'm voting for Donald Trump, man, and, I want to hear your take on it, but I hope you heard mine. I hope I didn't ramble. I really wanted to stick to my points, man, because at the end of the day, Donald Trump is talking about helping black people, man. The people who are going to benefit most by what Donald Trump is talking about, it's people of color. Black people, black Americans who are born in this country, they're U.S. citizens who are going to work in those factories, who are going to work in those businesses that Donald Trump is trying to put back online. White people ain't going to work in those things, man. You might have a few white people here and there for the most part, but, in general, those are going to be black people who are going to work in those jobs. Black men who are standing around our inner cities right now doing nothing, killing each other. Go to what the Democrats call their havens of support. Go to Detroit. Go to Chicago. Go to Miami. They're shitholes, man. They're shitholes. Look at the most successful parts of those cities. Those are the most conservative parts. The most conservative parts of Chicago, they're the ones that they look the best. They're the cleanest. They're the safest. Go to the most conservative parts of Miami. They're the cleanest. They're the safest. The businesses are really nice. The hotels are really nice because they're very conservative. Come on, man. There's obviously something about the Republican Party that, you got to want to probably be a part of this. Why are these people so much more successful? And I'm going to make a video about that, man, because why are people who are conservatives more successful? Why are their family lives more healthier? Why are their marriages last longer? Why are they, what is it about people who are conservative? And it's not about, when we talk about conservative, it's got so many negative connotations as an African American. Even saying it sometimes, I still have the flashbacks that it's a painful word. I'm still trying to get it out my system. Okay, because sometimes when people think conservative, they think somebody who hates black people, when a lot of times it's not somebody who hates black people, it's someone who just doesn't even have an opinion about black people because I'm so worried about what I have to do for myself. A lot of these white people out here are not racist. They just don't, they're so caught up in what they've got to do. They're not worried about black people. So things that are coming out of their mouth seem so insensitive and racist, but I'm just not educated on what black people are going through. So I don't have an opinion. So everything that comes out of my mouth sounds insensitive and painful towards people of color who have been dealing with issues that I don't know about all of their lives. It's your boy Sal, man, freestockpicks.org. Didn't want to make this too long, but I mean, it's been 20 minutes. It's crazy. This is the website. Take care, everybody.